Did you know that 40% of adults in the US experience anxiety or trust issues in their relationships? What if we told you that these struggles could be traced back to how we were treated as children? It's true, our childhood shapes the way we love, trust, and connect as adults in ways most people never realize. Imagine carrying invisible baggage from your childhood that affects every relationship you have. For many, it's not just a theory, it's a reality. From the way we handle conflict to the way we express affection, our early years play a huge role in shaping our love lives. In this video, we're going to uncover how your childhood affects your relationships in ways you might not even expect. You'll discover why you repeat the same patterns in love, how your attachment style was formed, and why healing from your past is the key to finding happiness in your relationships. Get ready to break free from old patterns and take control of your love life. Chapter 1: The Hidden Blueprint: How Your Childhood Shapes Your Love Map. Have you ever wondered why you keep falling for the same type of person, even though you know it's not healthy? It might not be your choice at all, it's the love map created in your childhood. The concept of the love map was introduced by Dr. John Money, a psychologist who believed that our early childhood experiences map out how we perceive love. This map guides the way we interact with romantic partners throughout our lives. Your parents or caregivers play a significant role in shaping your love map. If they were affectionate and attentive, you might grow up with a secure attachment style. This means you're likely to trust your partner, feel confident in relationships, and communicate openly. On the other hand, if your caregivers were emotionally distant or inconsistent, you may develop an insecure attachment. This leads to struggles like fear of abandonment or difficulty trusting others. The good news? You can reshape your love map. Psychologist Dr. Sue Johnson, known for her work on emotionally focused therapy, says that recognizing these patterns can help you change them. Becoming aware of your attachment style is the first step. Once you know how your childhood shaped your love map, you can start choosing healthier relationships that align with your needs and desires. Chapter 2: Love Lessons from Your First Teachers, Parents, Caregivers, and the Art of Affection. Our first experiences with love often come from our parents or caregivers. These early relationships teach us about affection, communication, and trust. But what happens when those lessons are negative or inconsistent? Research by Dr. Mary Ainsworth, a key figure in attachment theory, found that children who experienced responsive, loving care from their caregivers were more likely to grow up with secure attachment styles. These children learned that love was reliable and safe. But children who faced neglect or inconsistency learned to be wary of love, seeing it as unpredictable or even unsafe. How does this affect us as adults? Well, the love lessons from childhood often influence how we show affection in our relationships. If your parents were emotionally unavailable, you might struggle with expressing your feelings. You may even feel uncomfortable with closeness. On the other hand, if you had loving and supportive parents, you may find it easier to express your needs and maintain healthy boundaries. This doesn't mean you're stuck with unhealthy relationship patterns. According to Dr. Harville Hendrix, author of Getting the Love You Want, the key to breaking these patterns is to understand how your past experiences are influencing your present behavior. Once you recognize those lessons, you can start to rewrite them. Being conscious of the emotional lessons you learned as a child can help you be more present and intentional in your adult relationships. Chapter 3: Emotional Scar Tissue: Healing Childhood Wounds to Love Freely. Emotional wounds from childhood can linger into adulthood, affecting the way we love and trust. These scars are often invisible, but they can shape the way we react in relationships. Maybe you experienced childhood trauma, like abandonment, neglect, or emotional abuse. Or perhaps you grew up with overly critical parents. These experiences can create deep emotional scars that influence the way you connect with others. One powerful tool for healing these wounds is therapy. In a study conducted by the American Psychological Association, therapy has been shown to significantly improve emotional regulation and reduce symptoms of trauma. Therapy allows individuals to process past pain, understand their emotional responses, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. This is especially important for people with unresolved childhood wounds that impact their romantic relationships. Self-awareness is another key to healing. Recognizing the emotional scars you carry can help you break free from unhealthy patterns. Dr. Brené Brown, a researcher on vulnerability, suggests that embracing our imperfections is an important step in healing. By accepting our emotional scars, we can let go of shame and fear. Healing allows us to love more freely, without the burden of past pain holding us back. When we heal, we are no longer driven by unresolved emotions from the past. Instead, we become more capable of loving with intention and care. Healing from childhood wounds is not easy, but it is absolutely necessary for cultivating healthier and more fulfilling relationships. With the right support, strategies, and self-reflection, emotional scar tissue can be transformed into a source of strength. If you're finding this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more relationship tips and strategies on healing from your past. Chapter 4: Your Inner Child. How understanding your past can save your present. The inner child is a concept that many people have heard of but may not fully understand. It refers to the part of us that still holds on to childhood emotions, memories, and experiences. When we experience emotional pain or trauma as kids, that inner child can get stuck in the past, affecting how we respond to relationships as adults. This inner child often comes out in moments of fear, anger, or sadness, reactions that are rooted in unresolved childhood experiences. According to Dr. John Bradshaw, author of Homecoming, Reclaiming and Championing Your Inner Child, acknowledging and nurturing the inner child is crucial for emotional healing. When you connect with this part of yourself, you start to recognize why you react the way you do in relationships. For example, if you had emotionally unavailable parents, you might feel the need to seek constant validation or attention from your partners, fearing abandonment. One effective strategy for healing your inner child is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, making it easier to identify when your inner child is influencing your behavior. In her book The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle explains that being present in the moment allows us to detach from past experiences and emotions, giving us the space to heal. Once you understand where your responses are coming from, you can consciously choose to act differently. Another helpful approach is journaling. Writing about your childhood experiences can bring clarity and insight into the patterns you're repeating. Dr. Gabor Mate, author of In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, emphasizes that acknowledging past wounds is essential for growth. By documenting your thoughts, you can begin to heal and build healthier relationships based on self-awareness and compassion. Chapter 5: Breaking Generational Cycles. Love patterns passed down through families. Many of us unknowingly repeat the same relationship patterns that were established by previous generations. If your parents struggled with communication, you might find it difficult to express your feelings in your own relationships. If your family normalized unhealthy conflict resolution, you might be prone to fighting in ways that are destructive. These patterns are passed down through families like an invisible script. A study published in Psychological Science found that children who grow up in homes where there's high conflict or emotional neglect are more likely to exhibit the same behavior in their own relationships. This is called intergenerational transmission, where patterns of behavior and emotional responses are passed down. Essentially, what you saw growing up becomes the model you follow. But recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking the cycle. In her book The Dance of Anger, Dr. Harriet Lerner explains that to change your behavior, you must first understand it. This means taking a hard look at your family history and identifying the unhealthy relationship patterns that have been handed down. Once you see these patterns, you can start making different choices in your own life. The key to breaking generational cycles is creating awareness and choosing conscious action. If your parents' marriage was filled with secrets or emotional distance, you might be tempted to avoid vulnerability. But by acknowledging that vulnerability is essential for connection, you can begin to form deeper and more honest relationships. Healing can start with small changes, like choosing to have open and honest conversations rather than avoiding difficult topics. Chapter 6: The Power of Self-Love. How childhood shapes the love you give yourself. How we learn to love ourselves is often shaped by our childhood experiences. If you were taught to value yourself, set boundaries, and practice self-care, you're more likely to have high self-esteem as an adult. But for many people, childhood can leave lasting scars on their self-worth. If you were criticized or neglected as a child, it can be difficult to recognize your own value and love yourself fully. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading expert on self-compassion, argues that self-love isn't just about feeling good about yourself, It's about treating yourself with kindness, especially during difficult times. Her research shows that practicing self-compassion leads to greater emotional resilience and healthier relationships. In Self-Compassion, The Proven Power of Being Kind to Yourself, Neff explains that people who are kind to themselves are more likely to be supportive and loving toward others. One way to develop self-love is through positive self-talk. Often, our inner critic, the voice that tells us we're not good enough, is shaped by the criticism we received as children. By replacing negative self-talk with affirming and compassionate words, we can begin to change the way we see ourselves. Over time, this shift can have a profound effect on how we approach relationships. Another strategy is to set healthy boundaries. If you were raised in an environment where your needs were ignored or dismissed, you might find it difficult to stand up for yourself in relationships. Dr. Nedra Glover-Tawwab, a therapist and author of Set Boundaries, Find Peace, explains that learning to set boundaries is one of the most important steps toward self-love. By saying no when necessary and prioritizing your own well-being, you teach yourself that you are worthy of respect and care. Self-love also involves forgiveness. Many people carry the weight of past mistakes, feeling unworthy of love because of their perceived flaws. But healing begins when we can forgive ourselves. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but it does mean recognizing that we all make mistakes, and that those mistakes don't define our worth. Dr. Louise Hay, author of You Can Heal Your Life, teaches that forgiving yourself is an essential step toward emotional freedom and healthier relationships. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how childhood shapes our relationships, don't forget to subscribe for more content on healing, self-love, and building better connections.